What is up, you guys? This is HTJ Halloween, and today I am back with my heavily awaited top 10 Spirit Halloween props of the 2021 season video. And a lot of you guys might be asking, HTJ, why did this video take so long to come out? I usually come out with it right as sneak peeks end, but as a lot of you guys know, sneak peeks this year are pretty much non-existent, and because of all of the shipping delays, Spirit wasn't even putting stuff up on their website, so I just simply didn't have enough pictures and official videos of the props to compile together to make this video, and still some of them don't have their official pictures and videos, so I just had to settle with using whatever pictures were in the teasers as well as videos that I took at flagship, but most of them we do finally have up on the website, so I finally wanted to sit down and make this top 10 for you guys. Now don't forget, you can check out my Patreon, which will be linked down in the description if you want to get all sorts of exclusive videos this season. We're talking prop reviews, extra store tours, personal videos where I just am going to be actually like doing live streams and stuff like that, and then also there is all sorts of posts and teasers and all sorts of things that you're going to be seeing and hearing about before everybody else, so you'll be the first to know about certain uploads and plans for the future, as well as you'll be able to message me directly. Alright guys, so without further ado, this is my top 10 for the 2021 season. Now as you know, I have Buzzsaw in the number 10 spot, and really for no like major reason is he the last one on the list. He really is a solid prop, and that does say something about how good this year's lineup is. I just don't think he's necessarily right up my alley for this year. One thing I do love about him is the movement of the saw. I actually think his audio is pretty decent and just kind of comical, but I don't know. I think there's something, when I saw this guy in person, there's something about him that he just seems a little bit frumpy. He just looks kind of fake. His head is kind of small. The mouth movement is kind of sad, and I don't know. I know that a lot of people love him, and I'm not taking away from that, the fact that he is a really good prop this year. It's just coming in at number 10 on my personal list. Now, number 9 is Ophelia, and a lot of you guys might be surprised that I am ranking her so low this year in the top 10, because I tend to love these sort of possessed, creepy little girl props, but I have a lot of issues with this one. I just feel like the face doesn't cut it for me. It just looks very fake, very odd. I don't know why they keep making faces that look so plastic and pale. They just don't look good to me, and they're just looking very static and stationary and just not brought to life well whatsoever. She does have eye movement, but I tend to think eye movement also looks pretty fake and animatronic-like. It doesn't really seem to bring it to life for me personally, and then the audio itself is a little bit cheesy. So this girl really just kind of disappointed me, but yet again, though, she is a pretty cool concept and unique idea, and she certainly is freaky. I don't mean to crap on her too much. I probably will be picking her up this year. I'm just saying that there was a lot of things that let me down, which is the reason that she is so low on this list, even though she has such a unique and cool animation. There's just some things that really took away from it for me personally. So number 8 on my list for this year is Night Stalker, and I really don't have all that much to say about Night Stalker. I do tend to like scarecrow props. I think they're cool. I think they're really applicable to the Halloween season. This one isn't necessarily one of my favorite scarecrows, though. I certainly would say it's the worst out of Looming Straw Man and Jack Straw that we have seen in the past 2 or 3 years. So this one for me just kind of is pretty basic. I think that the audio is actually pretty cool, but it certainly can be quite annoying of a laugh. And seeing it in person, I do think that he looks pretty cool. I like the shaking motion. I love the light up yellow eyes. I just would say he's not altogether very creepy and nothing much going on. I mean, it's just kind of a shaking head. So nothing very original or stand out about this prop, which is why it falls at number 8. Number 7 is Evelyn Leech, and this is one of the ones that actually disappointed me the most this year. Now keep in mind, it's still number 7, so there was still a lot of things that I love about it, but I expected it to be a lot higher on this list when I initially saw the teaser images. I think she has an amazingly designed face. I love her outfit. I actually even love her audio, but they really just dropped the ball when it came to the look of the face that she's holding. It just looks super cheesy and doesn't look anything like the realisticness that they have in the girl's face. It just completely turns into this cartoon looking prop with the husband's face, and I'm just not a huge fan of it. And even with the look of that face, I wish that it just had a little bit more to its animation. Maybe the eyelids would actually blink a little bit, maybe there would be a little bit of mouth movement, or maybe she could just do something different with the head instead of just lifting it up. I don't know. There's just something about it that maybe if she like turned the head in a jump scare fashion or something like that, I don't know, guys, but there could have been something that could have made this girl better, because I feel like she's just so basic with her animation. Yet again, I do love her audio. I do love the look of the bride herself, but the really big downside of this is the look of the husband's head. I mean, even if the husband's head just looked better, it could even have the same animation and it placed higher on the list, but the husband's head just isn't doing it for me, and that's why she is number 7 this year. And I just want to add that this prop could have been one of my top favorites of the 2021 season if it had been redesigned to be more of a gory themed prop. I would have loved to have seen blood all over the white dress. They had a perfect opportunity to do that because she has a white outfit. I would have even loved to have seen her maybe holding a knife and making it look like she decapitated her husband's head. And then there's no reason for the husband's head to look like a zombie. It should have looked like a regular human being who was decapitated, and it should have been super bloody and gory and disturbing. I think if it looked like she had decapitated her husband's head with a knife and blood and gore, this could have been one of the best props that we've seen in a long time. Unfortunately, Spirit really dropped the ball with this design. Number 6 for my 2021 list is Pennywise Sewer Grate. Now, this prop is a little bit of a smaller, little, jump scare prop with not much more going to it than that. I mean, it's got a Pennywise look to it. Obviously, yellow eyes, pops out of the sewer grate. You can't really go wrong with a nice little jump scare. However, I will say the Pennywise itself is a little cheap looking. It kind of looks like something you'd see at Party City. But all in all, I don't hate this prop because it is more affordable, and I do love the jump scare element. So it comes in at a solid number 6. Coming in at number 5 is Baphomet. I apologize if I'm butchering that name. Please feel free to correct me in the comments, but I think it's Baphomet. And Baphomet is actually one of the ones that pleasantly surprised me at Flagship. I didn't really have high expectations because I thought it had a pretty basic look, and I'm not super into the demon type of props. However, this one actually turned out really cool, and I thought one of the nicest things about it was how smooth the head movement and mouth movement was on this guy. He really was brought to life very well. I love the light up yellow eyes. All in all, it's kind of basic, but there was just something about it that I kind of liked. I also liked the audio, and the movement in general I thought was pretty cool. It kind of had a lot going for it. It was turning from side to side. It also had the head movement. So I ended up actually being pleasantly surprised by this guy and placing him at number 5. Number 4 is Henry Hustle's partner in crime, Harriet Hustle. Now, this one actually kind of disappointed me, and so it's kind of weird that I have it at the number 4 spot, which is relatively high, because it still ended up having a lot of awesome aspects, but I expected it to potentially be up there as number 1 or number 2, and unfortunately it's not there, simply because I felt like they lacked a little bit in animation, and also the face design. I thought there could have been, not the design, but the animation in the face. I thought maybe the face should have something going on in it to bring it to life a little bit more, light up eyes, mouth movement, something, because it just seems very frozen in place, even though it is turning from side to side. But the reason that it is still number 4 is because I do love the look of it, and I do love the swinging aspect. I love that she's upside down. I actually also love her voice as well. I think her laughter is very creepy. So yeah, she just could have been a little bit higher. If she had some more movement, or maybe even a jump scare back bend motion, then she would have definitely been my favorite. So there was a couple things that I kind of expected that she didn't have, but for what she actually is, I do think she's a very solid prop for this year. I plan to pick her up, and she is number 4 on my list. Number 3 for me this year is Mr. Howle, and I really do love this werewolf animatronic. Although the only thing that I've said in the past that takes away from it is the fact that its motion is a little bit robotic, but aside from that, I really love every element. I think it just looks so amazing in person. It's actually really massive. It's like crouchy size, so that's one of the main things that makes it so awesome. It has huge hands, giant teeth, and it just has a lot of motion going for it, even though it is a little bit robotic. It has its arms lifting up, its head lifting up, the mouth movement. I actually love, the typical howls that it has were very good audio design. So I actually really love a lot about this prop, and in general, it's just so huge, which is always a great touch. So this werewolf is coming in at number 3 for me this year. Number 2 is the iconic Harriet Hustle from this season. This is one of those props that you just know will go down in Spirit Halloween history, and it comes really close to the number 1 spot for me this year. I'll get into why it doesn't make that spot, but Harriet Hustle is just such an awesome, unsuspecting clown prop that looks like a normal guy with face paint on, looks like Ronald McDonald up in here, and then it shoots up with this very terrifying demon clown, which I always love the demon clowns, and I think it's awesome. Now, this also has a very unique added touch of the cards that it's holding, which I just think is super cool. I love when they add something, different and not just make it basically, just standing there and doing nothing with its hands. So I think that's awesome that they've given it the card element. And also, the animation itself is really freaking cool, and I love the audio on this guy, so really nothing goes wrong. One thing, though, that might be a little bit of a drawback from this guy is that he seems like his head doesn't pop up as far as I was expecting. This could have just been the flagship model wasn't really working right, but even in demo videos I've seen, his head seems to look like it's just a little stuck underneath of the clothing, but we'll see what happens when I get it onto my channel. Regardless, I love everything about Harriet Hustle. So taking the number 1 spot on my list this year for the 2021 season, as many of you may have already guessed, is Mr. Dark. This was one of those props that really took everyone by surprise in the grand opening of the flagship, because I was thinking it was just going to be some slow rising prop that really had nothing else going for it, but boy was I wrong. This prop goes from probably 2 or 3 feet to a massive 8, maybe even 9 or 10 feet. I mean, it gets so tall, it is unbelievable. It's definitely taller than a regular story, so it's got to be about 8 feet or 9 feet, I would guess, and it goes up to that height in a super quick period of time. Now, I'm sure there's going to be some durability issues with this guy, but I'm not really factoring that into my top 10 list here today, because you never can really know that until later down the line. But Mr. Dark, for me, is just really freaking awesome, and I couldn't not have him in the number 1 spot. Now, I will say, it did come pretty close with Harriet Hustle when I was thinking about this list, because simply Mr. Dark just doesn't really have much going for him as far as looks goes. I really feel like they could have done so much more with this prop in the appearance. It could have just been something else, something more possessed, demonic, and creepy looking. This is just such a basic Reaper face, and because the animation is so amazing, it still takes the number 1 spot, but Spirit really could have done something more with this and made it an even more legendary prop, and I don't know why they chose to make this such a basic Reaper with a completely black outfit. I just can imagine this having such a more scary look, and with that animation, it could have been one of the best props of all time. But regardless, I really love the animation. Obviously, that's what makes this so incredible. I still do like the face that it does have. I mean, it is pretty creepy, and I actually really love the audio, and that's what makes this take number 1 instead of number 2. If the audio had also dropped the ball, it probably would have been below Harriet Hustle, but the audio is also super freaking cool for this, so it really does have to take the number 1 spot for me this year, and of course, that animation is just so freaking incredible to see in person. So that is it for my list this year, my top 10 list for the 2021 season. Be sure to let me know if you agree with it or disagree with it down in the comment section below. What props would you put higher up or lower down, or what props were you mad that I didn't even include? Be sure to let me know in the comment section below. If you have a question you want to ask me directly in a direct message, be sure to check out Patreon, which will be linked down in the description below, where I will be messaging you guys guaranteed after every message you send me daily. Alright guys, thank you all so much for watching today's video. I hope that you did enjoy. Stay tuned because I'm getting Spirit props soon to the channel, so don't worry, I'm getting them very soon and they will be coming. Alright guys, I will see you in the next one.